chances of not hitting that. But still, 4 damage into the tower is pretty good, especially when you have a handicap of 10 damage to begin with.
Now you gotta think, this is the tricky thing about this deck, Bruno. You gotta think ahead with these assault ladders. That's the improvement that comes with Sorlikon. Every unit in that lane does 2 extra damage to towers. But at the same time, when you're putting it there, that means the opponent knows which tower you're gonna wanna try to focus.
Right, and I think that's a very common play that is really hard to get it right.
Yes.
It's not a mistake to play it early, but sometimes it's good to play it early if you know that you're committing something and if your hand lends itself to putting that amount of pressure. So for example, when you have dimensional portals, but sometimes it's good to just keep that improvement in your hand. You don't have to commit it to any lane and like wait until there's some open space and then treat that as burst damage, right? Like you have 5 unblocked creatures, that card is plus 10 damage in your hand right there.
And I think that's a common mistake made by newer players and Sir Action Slacks, where you see a card, you just play it. That's definitely not the right way. You wanna save it as long as possible until it's the right situation.
Yeah, well, this game has an AI. You can play against the AI. It's actually pretty good. It's not a pushover. A lot of people at the beginning, when you play against a normal AI, you struggle, and like, it's normal to lose against the AI for the first 5 or so games until you actually pick up the pace of the game. But there's a fun story that the AI used to be much easier to beat. One day we started playing, and then now the AI is playing way better. Like
suddenly,
we went from like it learned. We went from winning against the AI like pretty much 90-95% of the time to like going, I don't know, 50-50, 60-40, and it's like, whoa, what just happened? We talked to people, and like what we changed was the AI was like less excited about playing cards. Like, sometimes you go and you have a little advantage and you play, and now it's like, well, I won't play this card unless I have a larger advantage, and that by itself, that single change made everything so much better.
Oh, interesting.
And that, I think that taught us a lesson as well. Well, sometimes it's good to hold on to your cards. Sometimes it's good to, pace yourself.
So and Dimensional Portal used twice in a row by Sir Action Slacks on each respective lane. You just saw pick off. So most spells can only be used in the same lane that you're playing it, but there are a few exceptions, and you saw the pick off being used to take out Sorlikon. So now, are we calling her Riley or Debbie at this point?
You call her whatever she wants.
Debbie. It's always Debbie.
It's always Debbie.
Debbie's hitting that tower real good right now.
Debbie with her guitar.
Yes. She's getting the extra damage from Lycan's passive.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's like half the damage to the tower.
Yeah. In
just one swing. And yeah, that's the challenge that you have to overcome when you are playing as a champion. See, actually, we talked about calling them heroes, but then it would be really confusing if we're talking about the hero and the heroes.
That's true. It's just there's sometimes some bad connotation with champion. Yeah.
There's no bad.
Not to me, personally.
No.
I have no problem with it. It looks like we're having Necro and Crystal Maiden being spawned. Of course, Necro died in that first round, which is why he's accompanying CM.
Yeah. And again, giving that flexibility of having those two heroes, Forge/Sir Action Slacks, which is actually Sir Action Slacks, I decided to abandon that third lane and be like, well, I need to go all in on the lanes that I put my dimensional portals in. And he gets some arrows that are going to be hitting that Rix and hitting that melee creep. I don't know if lucky or unlucky, it depends on what you're thinking about. It's just, it helps him get rid of those things. It's less damage to the tower, so there's a trade-off right there.
Just a little PSA for all those guys that are going to be playing Artifact here soon. The Keen Folk Musket, I have noticed many people equipping it. It has an active ability as well.
Use it, yeah.
2 damage, it's pretty damn good.
It's not piercing damage, so don't hit the Bristleback with the 2 armor, because you won't be doing any damage. But hey, it helps a lot.
Ooh,
and the VOD, I think a little bit early. I think he had 2, so he could get rid of that one.
And of course, the Celemane's favor is the reason that he had enough mana for that. That improvement gives 2 mana to that tower.
Yep, and now that 8 damage coming from the Oglodi Vandal, 4 from its play effect, and 4 from what is going
I love that creep.
That carries so much value.
Oh,
and yeah, choosing to equip the Keenfold Musket, even though it's not going to do much this turn, but having it ready for next turn could be really useful.
Right.
Also, remember that Hand of God, even though it's not particularly relevant right now, makes your current units invulnerable, not anything that you play after. So if a challenger was to play another creature right now, it wouldn't be invulnerable. So that Keenfold Musket could be useful in that case.
Right.
However, it's pointless because he spent all of his money, but it's good to know that type of stuff.
A little bit unlucky on the placement of CM, but it doesn't really matter that much.
That really doesn't matter when you have the assault ladders hitting for so much. And now our challenger has the option of playing the Reptile Convoy to stop some of that damage, but only can block potentially one of these 4 creatures.
The Untested Grunt. One of the most hilarious units in the game. The best voice acting. I laugh every time this guy comes out. Like, I don't want to die. I can't remember what his voice line is anymore, but it's just so sad to hear that he knows he's going to die. He dies to creeps, you know, 2 health.
He is untested.
That he's very untested. But he's actually very valuable in the black decks.
Yeah, one day he will become a tested grunt.
You think so?
I mean, we can print that card, right?
Do it, man.
Or 3.
Is he going to have a helmet or armor or what? One armor?
He'll just have a wise look in his eyes.
Oh, okay. He's going to grow a beard.
Right, yeah.
Not going to be all clean shaven. Oh, that arrow definitely hurts for Riley the Cunning, a.k.a. Debbie.
Debbie. And there's so much you can... Oh, actually, there's no accident that helps with 2 of the damage, but can't get rid of that 2/4 creep.
Yeah.
So decides to actually invest to the future by playing that Miss of Avernus improvement. It will stay in the lane. It will give +1 attack to everything. And realizes, well, I can't destroy the tower this turn, but maybe I can delay it for later. Now, the thing that becomes scary is that Lycan is at 4 health, and it is turn 7.
Yes, it is.
So Thunder Ghost Wrath could be coming online here and doing a lot of trouble, because that would like take the Lycan off, and that would take away 8 damage from those 19 to the tower. So that plus something else could just prevent. But besides, you know, I'm still abandoning that lane entirely, putting all my eggs in one basket, going to knowing that that second lane is pretty much taken.
Slax is in pretty good position, though.
Yeah, I mean,
regardless of the Thunder God's Wrath or not.
The best defense is offense.
Absolutely. But he's really itching to play that Disciple.
It really does. He has to wait, though, because if he jumps the gun, he could get punished.
Yes.
Those no accidents that will become very juicy.
What the challenger needs here is a coup de grace would definitely be helpful. But it doesn't look like that is in his hand right now.
Nope. Nothing like that in his hand right now.
What
Again, no accidents, untested grants seem good. Reptile Convoy, not particularly useful other than from blocking. Maybe he wants to go for the second Hand of God if he thinks that that's going to help him, but that still is not enough. He needs to play something to prevent lethal, and now even more so than before, because there's 29 damage threatening the tower. He could play a Reptile Convoy in front of the Sorlacan to block
I think that's the
damage.
choice.
And that's probably the best choice, yeah. You could also play a no accident to stop some of that damage, for example, killing, but the only thing that you can actually kill that is threatening your tower is the untested grant. So
also Jamoy, but of course he's not attacking the tower, so he's not really a high priority right now. Yeah, so I think you're right. Blocking Sorla is definitely needed. That's enough to keep him alive for now.
But the Disciple of Nevermore is coming, and the Disciple of Nevermore will add 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 damage.
Who's counting anymore? It's going to be a lot.
Yeah, fortunately for him, there's no accident, so if he realizes that, he can counter that Disciple of Nevermore by throwing a wrench into Slax's plans.
Yep, 4 health, -2 armor, so only 2 damage will take him out, and no accident does 3.
Yep.
So that'll save him for at least 1 turn, but Slax is definitely having a better game than we're used to seeing.
He's thinking, he's deciding. The untested grant is also an option to block something, but it's like much, much less efficient.
Yes.
Way less value. And I don't think there's anything that he can block that can prevent 11 damage. So he either kills that Disciple of Nevermore with the no accident. He actually chooses to
well, Slax can just win by clicking the button.
Well, not yet. He needs to take the second tower.
That's true.
Yeah. But he's certainly in a commandeering position right now.
So you have a Chen versus CM. CM only with 1 HP, but of course you can't cast no accident. You can only cast green cards.
Not anymore. You can cast Truth to Power and Silence, but does that accomplish anything at all? You still need something to block. You have no black heroes to play the untested grant. I don't think he has an out.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're actually going to see the second victory of all time for Slax.
Slax's look of anticipation. If we can put him on camera right now, he's like...
He's shaking the table right now.
Yes. He really can't believe. He's like, oh, I think I'm getting away with this one. I'm going to battlefield control these.
Excellent.
So that Crystal Maiden doesn't die.
Of course, he doesn't know what his opponent has. He's going to win with 6 mana. This was a short game, wasn't it?
That was a fast game, yeah.
2.5 rounds even.
3, 4, 5,
1, 2, 3, 3.5 rounds.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Counting's hard.
Math is hard, especially counting.
Math is easy. Counting's hard.
Counting's hard.
What the difference is, no one will know.
Yep.
Well, he's thinking about this. He can't do
Reading
anything.
the card. I can see him right now. He's like reading truth to power. It's silence.
Yeah.
He's gonna do something with that. What does silence do? He reads silence. He's
Yeah,
looking at
silence,
Crystal Maiden.
it can be powerful in certain situations. It prevents using items, active abilities, and cards. But unfortunately, in this instance, will not actually help him.
Yeah. So yeah, Slacks passes, and now. So when you pass to win, you have this like coin that is like very fancy and says like that you win. You don't get that when you're about to lose, so you have to click the coin of shame.
You should put that in. Make it a nice red dire-like token.
I think we had that. It was pretty scary. Congratulations to our
giving a very erotic
challenger.
hug to our challengers.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, and yeah, that was Slack's second win ever.
2 and 12, let's call it.
And our challenger was great, and I think, well, that's it for now for a little while. We do have Dr. Richard